Hare
Hare
Krishna. So,
Krishna.
we are so fortunate to have Her Grace Amrit Madhavi Mataji from Bangalore, India. And Mataji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagvatam 7.7.36 and onwards. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Let's start with the prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chikshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Imam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी Hari Om Tat Sat. So let us continue from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, text 36 onwards. सदा पुमान् मुक्त समस्त बन्धनस् सद्भाव भावानुकृताशया कृतिः निर्दग्ध बीजानुशयो महीयसा भक्तिप्रयोगेन समेत्य दोक्षजम्. Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 36, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The devotee is then freed from all contamination because he constantly thinks of Lord Krishna's pastimes and because his body and mind have been converted to spiritual qualities. Because of his intense devotional service, his ignorance, material consciousness, and all kinds of material desires are completely burned to ashes. This is the stage at which one can achieve shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 36, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So when a devotee is completely purified, he becomes anyabhilashita shunya. In other words, all his material desires become zero, being burnt to ashes, and he exists either as the Lord's servant, friend, father, mother, or conjugal lover. Because one thinks constantly in this way, one's present material body and mind are fully spiritualized, and the needs of one's material body completely vanish from one's existence. As iron rod put in a fire into a fire becomes warmer and warmer, and then when it is red hot, it's no longer an iron rod but fire. Similarly, when devotee constantly engages in devotional service and thinks of the Lord in his original Krishna consciousness, he no longer has any material activities, for his body is spiritualized. Advancement in Krishna consciousness is very powerful, and therefore, even during his life, such a devotee has achieved the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. This transcendental ecstatic existence of a devotee was completely exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya writes as follows: Tadbhava bhava tat yatha swarupam bhaktihi kechid bhakta vinrityanti gayanti cha yate chitam kechid tushnim japanti eva kechid shobhaya karinaha. The ecstatic condition of devotional service was completely exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who sometimes danced, sometimes cried, sometimes sang, sometimes remained silent, and sometimes chanted the holy name of the Lord. That is the perfect spiritual existence. You see, here Prahlad Maharaj is explaining how the devotees, that particular phase of life is going to be when he is completely Krishna conscious. That is, see here, the devotee is then freed from all material contamination. Because, why? Because he's completely Krishna. See, because he constantly thinks of Lord's pastimes. See, to constantly think of Lord's pastimes is to be conscious of Lord's pastimes constantly. To be conscious of the Lord's pastime is same as to be Krishna conscious always. So when a person becomes, and our movement is Krishna conscious movement. So when a person is completely Krishna conscious, then what happens? Then you see, because of his intense devotional service, his ignorance, material consciousness, and all kinds of material desires are completely burnt to ashes. So this is, how one can be so much Krishna conscious is, if we want to be that much Krishna conscious, how we can be is by constantly, being in the mood of a reader of the scriptures. And what's the mood of reader of a scripture? First of all, he hears, like how you all are hearing from the speaker. First, we hear Shravanam, and after Shravanam, we read it, Pathanam. We have to read the scriptures, and now you all are hearing, plus you all are reading also along with me. So it is constant hearing and reading, Shravanam and Pathanam. And then you know what you should do. Whatever you heard today, how much ever you remember the highlights, you should try to keep recollecting throughout the day. Since you're hearing it in the morning, throughout the day you should be recollecting it, and throughout the day you should be trying to remember the highlights and apply them in your life. That is called as remembering throughout is called smaranam, and applying it is called nididhyasana. After contemplating like how you can apply in your life, and then you applying, this is all coming under nididhyasa. Then after doing so much of four stages of hearing, reading, remembering, and applying, then you have to repeat it to someone else, you know because when you do these four stages, if you're doing it very sincerely, and if you're doing it from your heart, you will experience some joy, because you have read it also yourself. So you experience some joy as a result of the joyful remembrance of the Lord. You sharing it to others. What happens? That's called kirtanam. When we try to share it with others, we learn it even more deeply. It becomes a part of our study of scriptures. So these points I learned it from our His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's book. Art of Studying Scriptures. Actually, these five stages. That is, one is Shravanam, and one is Patanam, that is hear it, and then read it from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then if it is Srimad Bhagavatam, or if it is Bhagavad Gita, read from Bhagavad Gita, and then you recollect it. So Smaranam, and then you live it in your life, Nididhyasanam, and then you share it with others, that is Kirtanam. So if you are doing like this, Gaurang Darshan Prabhu writes in the book, that because of the constant remembrance of the Shastras, that is, you're taking constant association of Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, because Krishna is Srimad Bhagavatam. For Kali Yuga, Krishna comes as Srimad Bhagavatam. Since you're constantly in touch with Krishna, your mind, your consciousness will become as clear as a crystal. Okay, and your practices of sadhana will become more refined. And yes, as another outcome of it, our social relationships are going to be sweet, because we don't have any hatred. Since we are only remembering the Shastras, that means we are only with Krishna. So as an end result, we become blissful, our conscience becomes clear, we become empowered to take right decisions, and we become happy. And it's at that time, if you are like that, you will not have any material desires. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. That time you don't have any material desires, you become like an iron piece that is totally immersed in fire of reading Shastras, in the fire of remembering Shastras, in the fire of living the Shastras. So you become as good as the Shastras, as good as Bhagavatam, walking Bhagavatam you become. Means walking Bhagavata is nothing but, a person who is living all the instructions of Bhagavatam. Why not? Because you are remembering all the time and you are living it. Naturally you will be as good as Bhagavata, not the same person anymore. Like that. That's why Prabhupada is saying when the iron rod is immersed in the fire, it gets warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer, and then it becomes red hot. Then it is no more that iron rod, it is just fire. So when we people are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and then throughout the day just meditating on what the Bhagavatam speaker spoke about the Bhagavatam, only that you're meditating, what happens to you is that you become, you're not just meditating and you are also living the instructions of Bhagavatam. You become as good as Bhagavatam. Uh, that time your body is no more material because in your mind there are no material desires. You become as pure. That's what here. Oh, so what are the things that happen? You see, um, I read out to you. Because one thing is constant in this way, one's present material body and mind are fully spiritualized. Then, and the needs of one's material body completely vanish from one's existence. Then, an iron rod put in fire becomes warmer and warmer, and when it is red hot, it's no longer iron rod but fire. Similarly, when a devotee constantly engages in devotional service and thinks of the Lord in his original Krishna consciousness, he no longer has any material activities, for his body is spiritualized. So our body becomes spiritualized. Then advancement in Krishna consciousness is very powerful, and therefore, even during this life, such a devotee has achieved the shelter of lotus feet of the Lord. Actually, I think in fifth canto, I came across that fifth or fourth canto last chapters. It's the same topic came. It was. I regret that I don't remember where it came. In the fourth canto ending or in the fifth chapter, fifth canto beginning, that whoever practices Krishna consciousness, his body becomes spiritualized. And Prabhupada writes, you should not doubt this sentence. You should believe it because the translation is saying that, who Narada Muni or somebody is saying that. So we have to believe because it is told by them and we have to believe it. And I'm seeing the same point coming here actually, again in sixth canto, that how the body becomes spiritualized when we Krishna, when we make our conscious into Krishna conscious. So therefore, even during this life, such a devotee has achieved the shelter of lotus feet of the Lord. See, advancement in Krishna consciousness is very powerful, and therefore, even during this life, such a devotee has achieved the shelter of lotus feet of the Lord. And we can say, if our mind is all the time Krishna consciousness, see, simple, my dear friends. You people are really struggling to run this online temple, and you people are nicely doing the morning program. Every day you are ensuring somebody comes and does the class. So what happens is, if you are simply attending the class and if you're recollecting it, and if you could not attend whatever you attended yesterday, that class points you keep recollecting. Doesn't matter if you didn't pay attention to today's class, you didn't attend this class, no problem. At least yesterday's class, day before, means don't keep your mind empty. Keep your mind only with thoughts of what you learned in Srimad Bhagavatam class. So if you do like that, my dear friends, all the hard work that you're doing, your body will become spiritualized. Your conscious will become Krishna conscious, and your material desires will get destroyed. This is what is told, because it's no more your body, your mind, your conscious. It's all Krishna conscious. The body is spiritualized. The conscious is Krishna conscious. Then there's no material desires like that. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we get the shelter of lotus feet of the Lord. So my dear friends, let us aspire to be like this. And I don't know, many of you may be already like this. So we have to all become like that. So now we move to the next verse, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 37. Adokshajalambam iha shubhat manaha sharirinaha samsruti chakra shatanam tad brahma nirvana sukham vidurbuddhas tato bhajatvam hridaye hridishwaram. So Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 37, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The real problem of life is the repetition of birth and death, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. This wheel, however, completely stops when one is in touch with Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, by the transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from material existence. All learned men know this. Therefore, my dear friends, O sons of the Asuras, immediately begin meditating upon and worshipping the super soul within everyone's hearts. So, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 37, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, generally, it is understood that by merging into the existence of Brahman, the impersonal feature of absolute truth, one becomes completely happy. The words Brahma Nirvana refer to connecting with the absolute truth, who is realized in three features Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. One feels Brahma Sukha, spiritual happiness, by merging into the impersonal Brahman because the Brahma Jyoti is the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. Yasya Prabha, the impersonal Brahman, consists of rays of Krishna's transcendental body. Therefore, whatever transcendental bliss one feels from merging in Brahman is due to contact with Krishna. Contact with Krishna is perfect Brahma Sukha. When the mind is in touch with impersonal Brahman, one becomes satisfied, but one must advance further to render service to Supreme Personality of Godhead, for one's remaining merged in Brahman effulgence is not always assured. As it is said, Aruhya Kruchrena Param Padam Tataha Patanti Ado Nadrita Yushmat Angra, Angrayaha means one may merge in Brahman feature of absolute truth, but there is a chance that one may fall because of not being acquainted with Adhokshaja or Vasudeva. Of course, such Brahma Sukha undoubtedly eliminates material happiness. But when one advances through impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in relationship with Him as a servant, friend, parent, or conjugal lover, one's happiness becomes all pervading. Then one automatically feels transcendental bliss just as one becomes happy seeing the shining of the moon. One acquires natural happiness upon seeing the moon. But when one can see Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's transcendental happiness increases into hundreds and thousands of times. As soon as one is very intimately connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one surely becomes free from all material contamination. Ya nivrittis tanubritam. The cessation of all material happiness is called nivritti or nirvana. Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhaktirasamrita Sindhu 1.1.38 says, Brahmanando bhaved esha chet parardha gunikritaha naiti bhakti sukham bodhe Paramanu Tulam Api means if Brahmananda, the bliss of merging in the Brahman effulgence, were multiplied 100 trillion times, it would still not equal even an atomic fragrant of the ocean of transcendental bliss felt in devotional service. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param means one who is transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 18.54. If one advances further from the Brahma Nirvana platform, one enters the stage of devotional service. Mad Bhaktim Labate Param means the word adokshajalambam refers to keeping the mind always engaged in the absolute truth, who is beyond the mind and material speculation. Savai manaha Krishna padaravindayoho means this is the result of deity worship. By constantly engaging in the service of the Lord and thinking of his lotus feet, one is automatically freed from all material contamination. Thus, the word Brahma Nirvana Sukham indicates that when one is in touch with the absolute truth, material sense gratification is completely nullified. It's a very, very important purport. You all should write this purport, in a special notebook or in your laptop or wherever you make notes forever. In that you must put, mark this Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 37, purport. You must write like that. Purport has one particular reference. What is it reference? It says, as it is said, Aruhya Krichrena Param Padam Tataha Patanti Adho. Patanti, Tataha Padanti. See, Aruha. Those who have climbed Aruha Krichrena Param Padam. Those who have attained Brahman, what happens to them? Param Padam Tataha Patanti. Then they fall down. See, who have gone to Brahman, they fall down. Tataha Patanti Adho Nadrita Yushmad Anugrayaha. Now, I don't understand the other words, but translation Prabhupada gives means one may merge in the Brahman feature of the absolute truth, but there is a chance that one may fall because of not being acquainted with Adokshaja or Vasudeva. So, sometimes these people argue, from where did we come? Did we actually come from spiritual world or were we here? This is a topic you should never discuss. You should never argue. This question you should never ask. Why? Because it's a waste of time. From wherever you came, if somebody says something, can you believe it? No. Then why do you ask that question? Simply now understand that you have come. Now here you have come or you are here or whatever it is. But you have to go back. Prabhupada clearly told we came from there. And not only Prabhupada, our South Indian Acharya is there, some Kanakadas or Purandar Das, big Vaishnava. He also told, Allide Namma Mane, Illi Bande Sumane means Udar hai mera gar. My house is there. I came here simply. Pocket mein idhar aaya. Pocket mein. Summane means pocket mein. Aise hi mein aaya. Means I just came like that. Means like a fool, like that. So what Prabhupada is saying, I was there, I came here. And the acharyas in Kannada also have told like that. And then such people tell that, see, if you're really in Brahman, then you'll never fall down. Where is the proof that if you go to Brahman, you will not fall down? There is the proof here. This is the shloka. That's why I told you, write down. Canto 7, because some people may ask you, then at least you can tell this reference. Canto 7, Chapter 7, text. I am also going to write it in the book where I write such points. Very important points, which when people ask, we need it for reference. It's our weapon. Shloka is it's like a policeman with a loaded gun. The shlokas are like a loaded gun for us, so we can easily shoot the opponent who's asking questions to us. So this is the verse. Canto 7, Chapter 7, text that's in Prahlad Maharaj is telling to the Asuras. Prahlad Maharaj is an authority. He's a Mahabhagavata. So he is telling that, sorry, he didn't say, but Prabhupada is saying in the purport. Okay, sorry, Prabhupada is saying in the purport that it is said, Aruhya Krichrena Param Padam Tataha Patanti. Patanti is falling down, You will go Aruhya, you will climb to the Param Padam, but Tataha Patanti. When Adho Nadrita Yushmad an Angrayaha. Sorry for my bad pronunciation, but what's the transition? One may merge in the Brahman feature of the absolute truth, but there is a chance that one may fall because of not being acquainted with Adhokshaja or Vasudeva. So because we are not doing devotional service, if you say, I want to become God, I want to become God, and we pray nicely and then we go to Brahman, then we can fall down because we have not tasted the joy of devotional service, which is so many times more than the happiness of being in Brahman. Because in Brahman, we feel that Brahmananda, great happiness. Why? Because we are in touch with the rays that are coming from our Krishna's body. When the rays come and touch us, we are transported to that Brahmananda states, that much happiness. But the one who understands that my master is my Bhagavan Krishna and I am his very tiny servant of servant and I wish to serve his servants and him. When we think like that and when we serve, when we have come in contact with the Brahma Jyot, first my teacher had told, when I was very new in Krishna consciousness, my teacher in Dubai, Hargya Sitar Mataji, she had told that don't think this Brahmananda is or Brahman is something inferior or something like that. First, you have to reach the level of Brahmananda. First, you have to actually, one reach that stage of Aham Brahmasmi. Means you should know that I am also a part and parcel of Krishna. We have to come to that level. Then from there, then we will start doing real devotional service, knowing that I am Krishna's part and parcel, and whatever I am doing, may I do it for His pleasure. Then that real pure mood sets in. We will start doing devotional service properly after we attain that Brahman realization. She had told me like that. And since then, I was very curious, but throughout, I am coming across all such things, only what she said. My teacher was matchless. I am very grateful to her for putting in right things in my head. You see, here she is very clearly telling that one may merge in the Brahman feature of absolute truth, but there's a chance. So, when why? Then Prabhupada explains. See, I after reading this, I became so ecstatic that I actually was reading, but it didn't enter. So, but later I focused, and what it said is that later it says that your happiness in doing devotional service is so many times greater than attaining simply Brahmananda. So, what are the lines that I missed? I just like to read it once again. You also can hear. See, after that, what it says that one may merge in Brahman feature of absolute truth, but there is a chance that one may fall because of not being acquainted with Adokshaja or Vasudeva. Okay, after that, I became very happy and I lost in touch of this what purport. Of course, such Brahma Sukha is undoubtedly eliminates material happiness. Means so someone who is in Brahmananda, they are no more into material happiness. They're not looking for material happiness. Then what are they doing? But when one advances through impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma to approach Supreme Person of Godhead in relationship with him as a servant, friend, parent, conjugal lover, one's happiness becomes all pervading. So you see, when we are in the state of Brahmananda, means first all of us, we are coming to the level of Aham Brahmasmi, that happiness of Brahman we will get, and then we will come to the level of having Paramatma realization. And after having Paramatma realization, when we come to the position of, sorry, I'm looking for my water bottle. So when we come to the position of doing devotional service nicely, then what happens when we do devotional service? Either in the form of a parent or in the form of a servant, when we do our service in relation with Krishna, then what happens? Then our happiness becomes all pervading. Happiness becomes all pervading. Then, then what happens? Then one automatically feels transcendental bliss, just as one becomes happy seeing the shining of the moon. Prabhupada is giving an analogy here. So just as when we see beautiful moonlight, how we become happy. So same way, one acquires natural happiness upon seeing the moon. But when one can see Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's transcendental happiness increases hundreds and thousands of times. You see? So seeing a beautiful moon is so beautiful. It's so blissful. But seeing Krishna is far more happier because you're seeing Krishna. He's the moon of the moons. That's why. Then, as soon as one is very intimately connected with Supreme Personality of Godhead, one surely becomes free from all material contamination. See, when you connect with Krishna, all material contamination is gone. So that is what Prabhupada is saying. And then one who is transcendently situated at once realizes Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service. So that's what this again Prabhupada is giving a reference. That means when you have attained Brahman, then you will, then immediately when you want to do devotional service, your devotional service begins. This is exactly what my mentor had told in 2002 or something like that, 2002. And since then, I'm getting to hear the same thing. So the word adokshaja lambam refers to keeping mind always engaged in the absolute truth, who is beyond the mind and material speculation. So means we have to keep Krishna in our mind, Krishna in our consciousness. And how to do it? I just told you in the previous purport. Hear nicely, read the Bhagavatam, and keep meditating on the points. Keep meditating till you attend the next Bhagavatam class. Means never be disconnected from Bhagavatam. Then what happens? This is what happens. By constantly engaging in the service of the Lord and thinking of his lotus feet, one is automatically freed from material contamination. So it's the same content again here in the 37th purport. By constantly engaging in the service of the Lord, thinking of lotus feet, one is automatically freed from material contamination. Thus, the word Brahma Nirvana Sukham indicates that one is in touch with the absolute truth, material sense gratification is complete nullified. Means when we are completely indulging in thoughts of Krishna and getting lost blissfully, when we are getting lost blissfully in hearing about Krishna, when we are lost blissfully in reading about Krishna, when we are lost blissfully in remembering about Krishna, then where is the impurity of material contamination and material desires? It's not going to be there. That is what we learn from Prahlad Maharaj's teachings for the Asura kids. Then let me see the time once. It's 38th verse now. 525. Okay, we'll do one more verse. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 38. Koti prayaso surabhalaka hare upasane swe hridi chitra vatsataha swasyatmana shakyur ashesha dehinam samanyata kim vishayopapadanaihi. Now, Canto 7, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 7, Text 38, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. O my friends, sons of the Asuras, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his super soul feature, always exists within the cores of the hearts of all living entities. Indeed, he is the well-wisher and friend of all living entities, and there is no difficulty in worshipping the Lord. Why then should people not engage in his devotional service? Why are they so addicted to unnecessarily producing artificial paraphernalia for sense gratification? Canto 7, Chapter 7, Text 38, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Because the personality of God is supreme, no one is equal to him and no one is greater than him. Nonetheless, if one is a devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord is easily obtainable. The Lord is compared to the sky because the sky is a vast, yet within the reach of all, not only of human beings but even of the animals. Supreme Lord in his Paramatma feature exists as best well-wisher and friend. As confirmed in the Vedas, Sayujau Sakayau means the Lord in his super soul feature always stays in the heart along with the living entity. Lord is so friendly to the living entity that he remains within the heart so that one can always contact him without difficulty. One can do this simply by devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. As soon as one hears of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna Kirtana, one immediately comes in touch with the Lord. A devotee immediately comes in touch with the Lord by any or all of the items of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Therefore, there is no difficulty in coming in contact with the Supreme Lord. Koti Prayasaha. On the other hand, going to hell requires great endeavor. If one wants to go to hell by illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication, he must acquire so many things. For illicit sex, he must arrange for money. For brothels, for meat eating, he must arrange for many slaughterhouses. For gambling, he must arrange for casinos and hotels. And for intoxication, he may open many breweries. Clearly, therefore, if one wants to go to hell, he must endeavor very much. But if one wants to return home back to God, it is no difficult endeavor. To go back to God, one may live alone anywhere in any condition and simply sit down, meditate upon the super soul and chant and hear about the Lord. Thus, there is no difficulty in approaching the Lord. Adanta Gobir Vishatamta Mishram means because of inability to control the senses, one must go through great endeavor to go to hell. But if one is sensible, he can very easily obtain the favor of Supreme Personality of Godhead because Lord is always with him. By the simple method of Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, the Lord is satisfied. Indeed, the Lord says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Upahritam Ashnami Prayatatmana means if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 verse 26 says that one can meditate upon the Lord anywhere and everywhere. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj advises his friends, the sons of the demons, to take this path back home, back to Godhead, without any difficulty. See, it's such a nice thing. He is telling very clearly that, Arey, you fools, why do you want to go to hell by putting so much of a hard work? To tell lies is very difficult because you have to remember the lie every time. But it's easy to tell the truth. You don't have to remember because the truth is a truth and it will not be changed. But if you change the truth into a lie, you should know first of all you change it into what. Then you have to remember it. And every time it's asked, you should tell the same lies. That lie should not change also. Such a pain it is. But tell the truth when you know the fact. You don't change the truth, then it's very easy. Like that, everything. Everything is very easy when you're doing as per scriptures. Even serving Krishna is very easy. Simply you offer flower, fruit, no fruit, no water also. Then what I'll offer? In mentally you imagine that you are making nice feast and you think you mentally offer tulsi leaf. Offer, Krishna accepts it. Krishna is so nice. Prabhupada says that when somebody even remembers Krishna, he is in touch with the person. When somebody hears Krishna, Krishna is with the person. You see here, he says, as soon as one hears the Supreme Personality of God, that is Krishna Kirtana, one immediately comes in touch with the Lord. Do you understand that? We may hear about our daughter or our son, but when we hear about them, are we in touch with them physically? No. But when we hear about Krishna, we are in touch with him. When we are talking about Krishna, we are in touch with him. When we are remembering Krishna, we are in touch with him. What a lovely, lovely, supreme soul he is. Our Krishna is so beautiful. Our Krishna is so nice. We simply have to think that Krishna is coming and he's keeping himself in touch with us. And by he being in touch with us, he's purifying us. And ultimately, he's making us fire out of the iron rod. He is that kind of a personality. He's that kind of supreme personality. So devotee comes immediately in touch with the Lord. So that's why, Prahlad Maharaj is saying to his friends, "Oh, my friends, sons of the Asuras, Supreme Personality of Godhead in his super soul feature, always." So, how he comes in touch? Because he is Krishna, as Paramatma is everywhere. Because Krishna is, when he becomes Paramatma, means when he becomes Vishnu with four hands, Paramatma feature is in the Vishnu form. He is, after his creation, Garbhodakashai from his stomach, from his navel, one lotus comes out, and that Brahma comes. And inside that particular universe, that Garbhodakashai provided so many things to Brahma, and Brahma is recreating from whatever is created by Vishnu. And after he finishes the creation, to all the atoms and to all the animals with the souls, to every single atom, to and every single living entity, Paramatma enters. Means in our body, how many Paramatmas are there? As many atoms are there, that many Paramatmas are there. In our body also, not just one Paramatma in the heart. There in the whole, that's a whole body should be kept like a temple. You should know that Krishna is living in our heart, and we should really take care of the body. Don't abuse the body. So don't abuse the body, and ideally don't abuse the body of the spouse in the name of sense gratification, because that is like disrespecting the temple of the Lord in one sense. But if we are having no sense control, then what can be done? But if we can indulge in Srimad Bhagavatam, and if we can drink the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam, then all the time if we can remember. See, the problem is we hearing it, and after that we are not remembering it. That is where we fall down, my dear friends. If we can all the time remember what is going on in the class, all the time keep remembering till you attend next class. Tomorrow you'll attend or not, you may attend after 4 days, but that 4 days keep recollecting the points of Srimad Bhagavatam, what you have learned. So daily you try to recollect yesterday's, day before yesterday's, try to recollect today's points. Try to recollect at least that chapter when it is going on, you'll know what's happening. What happens when you're non-stop in touch with the Lord? Then your whole body, your mind becomes so Krishna conscious that it destroys the material desires for sense gratification with respect to having bodily relationship with opposite gender, with our spouse or whatever. We will just forget it, we will just not need it. So if you can become that much Krishna conscious, so here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, what's the need of artificial sense gratification? Why is saying, you see here, "O my friends, sons of the Asuras, Supreme Person of Godhead in his super soul feature." So Krishna is there as Paramatma everywhere, even in every atom. No, everywhere. If you could see Paramatma, you would see so many Paramatmas everywhere here. Everywhere. Just like in a beam of light, we see so many specks of dot, of dust flying. We can see that. Same as so many specks like that. We see so many Paramatmas. If we had the transcendental vision, we can see so many Paramatmas everywhere. That's why you will see everywhere Paramatma's heads, his hands, his legs, everywhere you can see. And that was described in some second or third canto, actually. 1 minute. That's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. "Oh, my friend, sons of Asuras, the Supreme Person of Godhead in his super soul feature always exists within the core of the hearts of all living entities. Indeed, he is the well-wisher friend of all living entities, and there's no difficulty worshipping the Lord." See, that is why Prabhupada is explaining that, there's no difficulty worshipping the Lord. When he's Paramatma is everywhere Paramatma is inside us, inside of others, inside everywhere, whatever small microscopic viruses or bacteria are there inside that, and in every single atom of air atom, water atom, there Paramatma will not be there, it seems. In a water atom, there may not be in a water atom, there may not be a soul, but there will be super soul. Even in an empty atom also, because without super soul entering, that water atom will not have the taste of water. This is what my teacher told. If Gauranga Prabhu said in Bhakti Vaibhava course of Bhagavatam, he said that in every atom Paramatma is there, and if Paramatma is not there, that particular atom will not be able to show its quality also. So in an air atom, there has to be Paramatma. So everywhere you will have air, you will have some moisture, water vapors, so in everything, Paramatma is there. So if you had the vision to see, you could see. Since Krishna is everywhere as Lord Vishnu in the form of Paramatma, what is the difficulty? He's all around. So what's the difficulty of worshipping? The minute you are conscious that my Lord is everywhere, my Lord, this is Prabhupada is take care of specs so nicely, saying Paramatma is there. Sorry. Paramatma says, I mean, Prahlada says, when Lord is everywhere, what's the difficulty to worship? Then he says, why then should people not engage in this devotional service? Why are they so addicted to unnecessarily producing artificial paraphernalia for sense gratification? So if you should be at that level of accessing Paramatma all around us, then you should be always remembering Srimad Bhagavatam class lessons all the time. All the time when we remember, our conscious will be filled with Krishna, because when we remember, Krishna is accessible to us. When we remember Krishna, Krishna is accessible to us. That's what he says. As soon as Prabhupada explains, as soon as one hears of Supreme Personality of Godhead or remembers, one immediately comes in touch with the Lord. So all we have to do is hear about the Lord always and remember the Lord always. That's the nicest way to be in touch with the Lord. And if you do so, then your all material desires will be burnt, and you will not need to do anything, any hard work to do sense gratification, because doing sense gratification in a wrong way needs more hard work. Even in the right way needs some hard work, but doing it in a wrong way needs double the, many times more hard work. So Prabhupada is discouraging the life of sense gratification. So if at all you want to do sense gratification, do the sense gratification of the senses of Lord Hari. Let's try to do the sense gratification of the senses of Lord Hari by using our senses in his service. So this is the purport, and I'm stopping here because the time is also up. It's 5:40. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask, because I was a bit busy today, and I have to do my other part of sadhana today. That is why I'm winding up the class. If you have any questions, we can take 2-3 questions, and then I will end the class today. Okay, thank you very much. My dear friends, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. If you have any comments and questions, you can ask me.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dharat Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. I hope you're feeling better, Mataji, because
Yes.
you were like,
I just take a tissue. I just clean my nose. But
yeah.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, Dandat Pranam, all goes to Sri Prabhupada. It was such a nice class reflecting upon how association with the Lord's name, form, quality, and pastimes through this 9 processes of devotional service, they can detach us from the material entanglement. This is Prahlad Maharaj is nicely describing here through these verses, and it basically gives a form of realization to those Daivi Esha Gunamai Mamaya Devata Mamai Vetrapadante Mamaya Tantarantite. So that is very nice to hear. And also, like another place, I think chapter 2, he says, Krishna says,
Bharata Prabhu, your volume is low. I'm not able to hear you properly. Please accept my humble obeisances.
okay, this it's so important verse. I mean that the association with Lord's name, form, quality, and pastimes dissociates us from the material entanglement. And this is very important. Prabhupada Maharaj is saying that because one he thinks of remembers Krishna and engages his senses in Krishna's service, automatically he gets detached from material entanglement, because Lord is purely spiritual. Even when he comes in this material world, he makes those places like when Krishna came in the Bhoma Vrindavan. The Bhoma Vrindavan was not Bhoma; it was spiritual. Even now also Bhoma Vrindavan, there is a spiritual Vrindavan with the those with the eyes and with the heart to realize it can realize spiritual Vrindavan within kind Bhoma Vrindavan. And also when Vishnu comes in the spiritual world, in the material world, his feet his feet do not touch the ground. So yes, I mean it's completely spiritual. So and also I mean this gives form and realization of what Krishna says, Daivi Esha Gunamai Maya Durata Mameva Prabodante Mayametam Tarantite. And then also in chapter 2, yatatopi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramatini bharanti prasabam mano. That whenever the Purusha, the person who is very, even if he is very, very learned, his senses are, if he is not surrendered to Krishna, like you are saying that Patanti that Lord Brahma's statement, that even those people fall down because they have not taken shelter of your lotus feet, O my Lord. So yes, even those people fall down. You see that Kardama Muni story, the Savari Muni story. So all these stories are basically telling us that Lord's feet, lotus feet is the only shelter to get out. And then Tani, that Krishna continues in that second chapter 2. Tani sarvani sangha yukta asita mat para. That is the first time Krishna says about mat, about himself in the Bhagavad Gita, I believe. So Prahlad Maharaj is telling us how he does that. Your classes is so nice, and your association is so valued. Thank you, Mataji, for your Nictarian words. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, it is such a nice addition to the point. Yes, I told you to note down the previous verse, but I should have told you to note down this verse also, because that is preaching application. This is personal application. So thank you very much, Prabhu, to tell this. This also we should note down, because it's for our reference, for our life, and to also tell others for their personal application, that this particular verse says that as soon as you remember Krishna, he's in touch with you. So when you're in touch with Krishna, you become Krishnaized. You become Krishna conscious. All material desires will leave if you're non-stop in touch with Krishna. Only when you leave the touch, Maya touches, then we are in material desires. So don't let Maya come. So don't leave a gap between you and Srimad Bhagavatam. Always have thoughts of Bhagavatam. And the proof that some of you devotees are always in, or most of the time in touch with Bhagavatam, is after our class, you all will add some points. Like Prabhuji added now, Saubari Muni is an example that how easily people can fall down. So, we have to be very cautious to be Krishna conscious. So unless you are not regularly in touch, you will not be able to add points like that. It's a very nice thing that you are in regular touch. So let us learn from their examples, that let's always be in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam in our mind, and let's always do what Bhagavatam is demanding from us to do. And this is the way to go back to Godhead. And this is a way to be in Vaikuntha consciousness when we are here also. Thank you so much, dear Partha Prabhu, for your nice point. Hare Krishna.
Your mercy, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Anybody has any question or comment, you can speak.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madam, pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. In spite of, like, I think, dryness in throat and everything, not feeling perfectly 100% good, you still came and gave class to us in this situation. I hope you feel better, Mataji. So, Mataji,
I'm
you were
very good now.
okay. Thank God. Thank you, Krishna. You should not say thank God, but thank you, Krishna. So,
Very nice.
yeah, Mataji, you were saying that people do sense gratification. In the end, one point you were saying, and then you stopped your class, and I wanted you to continue. Like it is 10 times more effort than otherwise. Sense gratification in connection to Krishna. Can you just emphasize this with an example?
You want an explanation? See, what Prabhupada wrote in the purport is that if you are doing some wrong activity, like for example, if you want to do meat eating for sense gratification or illicit sex, then for illicit sex, you have to really earn a lot of money, because illicit sex is generally done by paying some money, nobody will be willing to be a wife when they don't get the designation of a wife like that. It involves money. So you have to work so hard to keep your two families intact. That's illicit sex. Suppose if you want to eat meat, then you have to arrange to have slaughterhouses. So how much of hard work? And I added my own example that if you want to tell lies, then also you have to endeavor to remember the lie. Because next time again the situation comes that you have to speak that lie, then you should not tell some other lie in place of the first lie. So it's so difficult, it's not easy. So to do anything wrong is not so easy. If somebody is angry and yells at us, it's easier to keep quiet than get angry and fight and beat them up or kill them. That's not easy. To do something wrong. Um, uh, uh, at our If we are into doing wrong, then whatever we are doing, that may be little easy for us. But once you learn to do right, then again to step down to do wrong is difficult. It's not easy. um, um, I have not been fighting with my husband. Now, if I have to fight, it's not easy. So we should make our life simple, following Krishna's instructions. And we should stay away from the acts of sense. So to fight is also sense gratification. Oh, you are saying less, then why I should keep quiet? I will also say what I want to say. That is sense gratification. So doing sense gratification is not easy. It's difficult path. So why you want to get into the difficult path when easily Krishna is available as Paramatma all around us? You can easily remember Krishna and he's with you. You are in touch with the Lord. Instead of remembering the Lord and being in touch with the Lord, you're putting an effort to remember that illicit sex life. So you have to work hard. You have to hide from your wife, and you should do all wrong activities and pay for it, pay the all consequences, you face it. So why you want to do that? Why can't you go for easier life of doing devotional service like that? Prabhupada explained in the purport. This is what Prahlad Maharaj also told. Life of sense gratification, why should you do when easily Lord is accessible like that? Is that clear, dear Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Sorry,
Is that
Mataji.
clear?
I was on mute. Yeah, I heard you, Mataji. I was on mute, I was talking to you. Like there's a factor of like we say devotees are fearless, right? They are fearless. So when we are indulging in all this, even fear comes in the mind, and fear
Ah,
is not a like when you're doing wrong things, any wrong things will bring fear. You're telling lies. Oh, I should not be caught. Illicit, my husband should not know. Intoxication, you're in a different world altogether. Meat eating, or you're automatically going to ignorance. All these things are they have such a heavy taxation on us. But yes, people still continue, and how nicely Prahlad Maharaj is explaining. And the wonderful part is that he is, I think somewhere it's written, right? He learned all this in the womb of his mother. That was
yes.
very, very interesting for me to hear, and for us to, this is such a good preaching point to, young brides who are getting married. Who knows when they will have children, but whenever they do conceive, it's like these, I think these verses and 37 you were emphasizing to remember can
Yeah.
be encouraged for them to read, because so much of knowledge is coming, and there.
37th verse is for preachers. 38th is for everybody.
Okay.
That
So
seventh verse actually talks about how Brahman, people who go to Brahman, they also may fall down. That's the with Shloka Prabhupada has given the, he has written the explanation. Whoever has going to Brahman, so they say that no use going to Brahman. One devotee was asking me, how you can say if you go to Brahman, you will fall down. It's simply Prabhupada is just discouraging that because he wants everybody to become devotee. No, it's not simply this. The verse proof is there. So now I will go and tell that devotee. See, this is the proof that one who goes to Brahman also can fall. That's it. So that's good. And the next verse, why I said you should note down after Partha Prabhu said is because it says that it's very easy to be in touch with the Lord. Simply remember him, you are in touch with the Lord. And if you're all the time in touch with the Lord, then your mind will become Krishna conscious, and you will not have the pangs of material desires also. So when there's no desire, then there's no need to go out for sense gratification because you don't have desire only like that. So that's why that is also very important, because it's a very solid technique. Even in this class, somebody had asked, when people are so much after money, they think that money is needed. Even after hearing Bhagvatam also, they're not able to come out of the desire to make money. This is the answer for them, that if you're not able to come out of that, it's because you're not all the time in Bhagavatam thoughts. Whenever you have little time, little free time for the mind, like when you're driving, or when you're just entering your office, keep thinking of what you learned in Bhagavatam. Only when you open the laptop and you start working, you work, and that to work for Krishna's pleasure. Once the work is done, again, let the mind switch off from the work and switch on Bhagavatam there. Non-stop be with Bhagavatam, then you will not be disturbed by anxieties of making money, extra money, and all those things like that. So all the metal contamination will be burnt if you're all the time Krishna conscious. And to be Krishna conscious, you have to be remembering the points from Bhagavatam. That's the easiest way of being in touch with the Lord. That's why this verse can be written down. Any other questions?
Very nice,
Or
Mataji, and thank you
comment?
so much, for reminding us that, to remember the last class and this class. And I think the one way to remember is to write it down. We should have like a paper and a pen in hand and make like a book for this Canto 7, and separately just write down the points, because when we write down, then we will remember more. Otherwise, it'll just. So thank you for reminding. It's like reinforcement to me, because I was thinking to, remember what I hear. So I think I can speak about it a little bit if I have to in an emergency, in a situation where somebody needs some guidance. Otherwise the mind is all blank. We did the reading. Okay, everything closes at 8:30 a.m. and then you are busy with other things. So that was a wonderful point. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. It's a nice point to write down, but when you write down, you remember more. That's also correct. And writing and also sharing with others. That also registers. Keep constantly sharing, or you can preach to the whole walls around if nobody is there to hear also, and that will be pleasing Krishna. Krishna as Paramatma is all round. You can say, I like this point, I like that point, what was told. You can keep talking that when nobody is around. If somebody is there, you can share it with them. Writing down, I think in the early morning, you people will be cooking, cleaning, getting ready. It may not be very easy to write down, and after that, you may not even get time. So I would say that it's all right. You're doing daily Bhagavatam. So daily what you heard, you keep repeating in your mind. Keep repeating in your mind. Because you're not writing, you should be all the more anxious to keep repeating in your mind. Remembering. That is also all right. If you write down, that's great, because that will be your weapon when you want to preach to others. It will be just turn around the pages. These points, what I have written, you'll be remembering. You're writing also. It will be clearly etched in your hearts. And when you look at it, you'll be able to preach. So writing, if you can do, there's nothing like it. If you can't do also, you can write it in your mind and keep repeating in your mind. And the next day another new set points will come again, that you can write like that, something like that you can do. And you can try, and you can recollect yesterday's and today's like that. You can try. If you write, it's very good. Or whenever you get time, if you write, that's also very good. Is that over, or anybody has any doubt, or shall we end the class today? I have little more sadhana left. That's why I'm little
Hare Krishna
hurrying.
Mataji, thank you so much for this in class, and you're so busy with other sessions and sadhana, but still you are wishing to give time for us. So that's so nice of you. And thank you so much for taking. You did 3 verses today, right, Mataji?
Yes, 3 verses.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, dear Mataji. Thank you for this opportunity.
One question,
What?
Mataji, one quick question. Like,
Ah.
you said that every, like, our body has Atma Paramatma. Okay, one Atma is there, one Paramatma is there. So, but you mentioned something in the class that every part of the body, every atom has Atma
In
Paramatma.
every atom, there is Paramatma. In every atom.
Every atom. So, like, I mean, I've not heard that, but then I got a little confused because Atma Paramatma is also in water, because water has got taste and whatever qualities of things.
Everywhere. In every atom. Every material, even the stone's atom also Paramatma is there. That's why we have the habit of, not stamping on many things. We don't cross over. We walk by the side. Because Paramatma is there everywhere. Even if it does not have life, Paramatma is there even in the atoms. If Paramatma is there in every single atom, then our body has so many atoms. So Paramatma is there in all atoms. Is there everywhere. That's why Prahlad Maharaj, when he was asked, where is Krishna, is everywhere. The answer is everywhere. It's not just in the heart.
So the Paramatma is there, not the Atma.
Atma is anyway there. Atma is only one. In our whole body, only one Atma is there, but Paramatma is many in the all atoms.
Okay, okay, okay.
And it's a clear-cut fact. There's no doubt about it. You can verify with the teachers who are teaching Bhakti Vaibhava course. And its proof is there in Bhagavatam verses only, in some fourth canto or somewhere it's there.
So, Mataji, like you said this about the body, there is one Atma, and then Paramatma is there. One Atma is there, and then a lot of Paramatmas are there. So then a thing,
Paramatma is in every atom also, not lot of. In every single atom, there is Paramatma. Atma is only one. That is we. I am one. In my heart, I reside like that.
okay. And what about the water in the stone? That doesn't have Atma, Paramatma?
Water and stone, everywhere Paramatma is there. It may not have Atma, but Paramatma is there.
Atma is not there.
Atma may not be there. It may be there, may not be there. Wherever Atma has to be there, Atma is there. But Paramatma, in every atom, Paramatma is there. I
Yes,
just be back. I drank too much water, so I want to pass water and come. Just a minute, huh?
yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. Yes, any
So,
other doubts or comments? We can.
Mataji,
Yes.
one more thing, extension to what I asked. Like, for example, if we see any living entity which is moving, say a lizard, a fish, a small baby, or any animal, that has Atma, Paramatma.
One Atma, lizard, any moving living entity is having one Atma. That's why it's moving. But it has so many, in every atom there is Paramatma. In its heart there is Paramatma, and every atom. That heart wala Paramatma is sitting to guide the Atma. But all other in the atoms, the atoms show their quality only because of Paramatma. It is told, I think even in second canto, where Virat Rupa, does not have life. Virat Rupa means all the material nature put together. You are seeing the mountains as something, you are seeing the grass as something, you are seeing every part of the material nature as some part of the Lord. And that nature is not in life. But when the Lord enters into the material nature, then it gets life. He gives life. So, Lord, it is very important for Lord to enter into every single atom for it to show its qualities. This is, I have 100% clarity. I have heard it. I regret that I didn't write it in the notebook because now what I'm doing is I'm going from Canto 3 onwards, wherever I have not completed detailed reading. When I do detailed reading, I will put it in my special notebook where I put such important points of reference, because it's a very surprising thing for people. So we need reference. So when we don't have reference, then they will find it difficult to trust. So that is why this is a very clear thing. If you have Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's email or something, you write to him, that you will know that he will say yes, because I learned it him very recently. I learned, so it may not be, say, it may be in fourth canto or something, that, or third canto. I'm not sure actually. Somewhere I read. We are now in fifth canto. Before fifth canto, in one of the canto, not in the first canto. In the first canto, we didn't learn that aspect. Second, third, or fourth canto is having that fact that Paramatma enters into every single atom. That is why, once he had explained it, why we see there is one particular chapter where it says Purusha Sukta confirmed. The title is Purusha Sukta, one chapter title. So in that you get to know that that the Lord, that Paramatma has so many heads, so many hands, so many legs. Why so many? Garudanesh Prabhu said, why? Because in every atom, if Lord is sleeping, in one atom he's sleeping this way, in one atom he's sleeping that way. So many atoms are there in my hand, so many atoms. In each atom, one Paramatma is sleeping. In each atom. Then in the hand only, if you see millions of atoms in my hand, if you have the eyes to see, in every atom you will see Paramatma sleeping. Then what you will see? You will see so many heads, so many hands, so many legs, right? That is why it is told in Purusha Sukta that Paramatma is having so many heads, so many. Not that he's impersonal. That's why he's having. He's so personal. Every one small Vishnu, 4 hands only are there. That one Vishnu does not have so many heads. He has only one head, only 4 hands, only 2 legs. But such Vishnus are so many sleeping. You will see heads and legs and hands found everywhere. It's not that where head is there neatly, one head is here, legs are here, hands are here, next head is here. But what happens? The next head is here also, na? So there, this head's leg also is there, next head also is there. So leg and hand, everything is in all places you will find. Like that it is told, in Purusha Sukta, and that is confirmed in our Bhagavatam, one of the chapters in one of these cantos. The title is Purusha Sukta confirmed. In that you will see that the Paramatma's heads and legs and hands are seen everywhere. Why? Because he's entering into every atom. That's all, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. And Mataji, in your class, you mentioned about the Brahma Jyoti, which is not like, in the sense that you can come down from it. It's not like you are in the,
That is 37th verse. 37th verse with reference is there in purport.
And then
Shloka is there. Patantyadaha.
Yes, Mataji.
Parampadam patanti means you go to Parampadam also patanti. Patanti is patan.
Fall
Patan
down.
hona means to fall down. It will happen. Means it can happen. It didn't say it will happen, but it can happen. And Prabhupada had explained it. Why? Because in Brahmajyoti you go and you feel, oh, I was better off with the devotees. Nice discussion was happening. Finish one thought because your individuality is not getting destroyed. And that proof Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, some 12th verse or something says that, all these kings and you and me, we were there in the past, we will be there in the future, never will be there never will there be a time where you and I will, where all these people are not there. Means even if you go to Brahma Jyoti, you will still be in your own existence with your own feelings that I am happy, that I am happy feeling is there. So when we feel, but I want to remember Krishna's talks. That was nicer. Just one thought is enough. You will fall down. And that Prabhupada said, but you will fall down into a devotee family wherein in one life you will attain perfection and you'll go back to Vaikuntha Lokas. Based on you want to go to Vaikuntha or Goloka, that depends on what association you take, you go back. So for all that, now this is the proof that if he can fall down, then what Prabhupada said is correct, that he can fall down, then you can go back in one life also, we should accept it as correct. At least falling down is confirmed in the 37th verse, 7.7.37th verse, purport. Verse also is given, finished. One proof got.
Yes, Mataji. So in several places in Bhagavad Gita, also in extension to this question, there is the Brahma Jyoti, there is the Atma, concentrating on the Atma Paramatma, and then there is direct worship to Krishna, right? So when we do Atma Paramatma, then
Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. That's a verse in Srimad Bhagvatam also. That intelligent transcendentalists, they see the Lord in 3 levels. Some say the absolute truth is Brahman, some say absolute truth is Paramatma, some say absolute truth is Bhagavan. Iti Shabdyate. Iti Shabdyate means they say like that.
Yes. So the Paramatma thing is again that one Atma which is there in the body is just concentrating on the Paramatma, which is like Vishnu, like you mentioned, 400 Vishnu. Is just a concentration of the Atma on the Paramatma, which is 400 Vishnu. That's the Paramatma, right then?
See, the tragedy is that the Atma, that is me, and the Atma, that is you. The tragedy is that we are not focusing on Paramatma. Paramatma is sitting next to us, and we are all sitting next to Paramatma. But Paramatma is looking at us, and we are turning our back and seeing what sense gratification I can do. That's it, Prahlad Maharaj's lesson. Don't do that. Paramatma is just easily available. Just simply think of him and you are with him. But if you think of sense gratification, you are losing out your time. Don't lose your time like that. We are sitting next to Paramatma, but Paramatma is with us, but we are not with Paramatma. We are with our sense gratification desires. So that is what we should not do. We are there. Now you are talking to me. You are there. You are the soul. You just have an outer covering of a Mataji body. You just have a covering. But you are the soul. Next to your Paramatma is there, but you're not even, you're oblivious to his presence. I mean, in the past. So now Bhagavatam is teaching that now onwards, we should all the time remember, but I am also not remembering no all the time. So what I do, I try to recollect Bhagavatam sentence. I try to read now one chapter a day if I don't have all this extra tasks of doing some other services. I try to do one chapter a day and I keep recollecting next day till I sit for Bhagavatam to do the next chapter. So I keep recollecting, and I get it by heart also, Now I got fifth canto, first chapter contents by heart, second content chapter by heart, third chapter contents also by heart almost, because I have not read it again. I have to read it again and write a test. Then I will have that by heart also, like that. And then I'm recollecting all the 3 chapters now daily, because whatever I read in the past, I forgot, That's why now I don't want to forget. So I thought I'll keep recollecting. And then I realized that Art of Studying Scripture book says that you have to keep recollecting. And here today's class says, if you keep recollecting, you are with the Lord. If you are with the Lord, your body will become spiritualized. Your mind will become Krishna conscious. So now, if this is the technique, then you people are struggling so much to arrange speakers. And if they're not coming, you arrange some other speaker. You all are putting so much of an effort. Why don't you take full benefit out of it? Attend the class and keep recollecting till the next class. Don't forget it. So if you have in between 3-4 days holidays, and Bhagavatam happens only, I think 3-4 days in a week for you. Other days you have other class. But don't forget Bhagavatam. Till the next Bhagavatam class, keep recollecting, keep recollecting. Let us see how we will not become Krishna conscious. Let us see how material desires will trouble us. We will all become Krishna conscious. You're putting so much of an effort and to invite the speakers. Why should you be the loser? Why should you get the troubles from material nature? Let you not get any trouble. All the time, keep remembering Bhagavatam points, and let's see how Maya can attack us. That's
Yes, Mataji, I really like that point that I had this intriguing question I had for a long time. This Atma Paramatma in the middle of Brahma Jyoti and the direct worship of Krishna. Why we can't sit and do meditation? And then you gave the answer that actually it's very hard. Although Paramatma is there, but then we are actually indulging in sense gratification. We are not able to. It's not easy in today's life. It's like, the mind is running here and there. So it's better to chant the Lord's name, and connect directly to Krishna through DT Seva, through association of devotees, through prasadam, through chanting, rather than, that process what Prabhupada is given is much easier to remember, right?
Yes, but I think if you start doing courses, no, then you will start feeling like learning. So when you get the mood of learning, and when you're anyway hearing, you can anyway keep repeating. That is like by hearting the points of Bhagavatam. But like you, my daughter also was experiencing so much tension, because she's taking all the burden that I have to do it, and she's undergoing so much. She will do so much seva, but she's all the time in tension while doing seva, and her tension level came too much. Then I told her, see Putta, what you do is, see, I am now trying this method of while chanting. What I'm doing, when I say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, I am begging the Lord, please help me to complete this Maha Mantra without dozing off. Please help me. Help me to complete. So, means just I'm saying help. I don't say help me to complete. That much I don't say. I just say help. And I don't even say in my mind, I am telling it in help mode. When I say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, then I feel that now when I start Hare Rama, I feel he helped. So I say, now this is your offering. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Take it. Then again help. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Means first part I'm begging for Krishna's help to complete the Maha Mantra. Second part I'm saying, please accept this Maha Mantra. You help me to complete. Accept. First thing is help, then accept. Help, accept. In this mood when we do, I told her, your mind will not go out of Maha Mantra. Your mind will stick. If you keep mind stuck in Maha Mantra, then you will have so much of purification in that. Definitely your stress will go. Try it, I told. And she tried, and today also she was so much thanking me. Amma, what you said is so nice. It is so useful for me. It is so beneficial for me. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so relieved. And And because I was talking on this topic, and we went to Radheshyam Prabhu's class. He came here, and he also said same thing. I will tell you, you'll be so surprised. He said that, you see, if you have eaten in a plate, in a steel plate, and you didn't wash it, and you left it on your table, and after a few hours you are seeing, oh, it's not washed. Then when you wash, how much effort you have to put to scrub it? Rather, don't put that effort. Keep the plate in the sink, put some water and keep it. Then after 20 minutes, you try to wash it. In one shot, it goes. So if it is soaked in water, if the mind, the dirty mind, if it is soaked in the water of Harinam, means you keep the Harinam in mind, not that Nama is going on in the tongue and mind is going around the world. Not like that. Nama is going on chanting and mind is also going around the world. Not like that. Try to hold the Harinam in the mind for some time. Then that is going to scrub your mind's garbage, so nicely that your mind becomes so clean. Same way, he said, Swadhyaya, when you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, never be satisfied. Go on indulging it in it for hours together. So you cannot read for hours. So what you do, you keep repeating the instructions of Bhagavatam in your mind. Keep repeating the instructions. Then then what will happen? Then you will be, now today we have covered only 3 points. So you may feel, oh, only 3 points, how much I can go on repeating? That's why if you're repeating yesterday's points, day before yesterday's points, previous days, so if you're going on repeating all Prahlad Maharaj's instructions in your mind, what happens? Your mind will be holding the instructions, because non-stop that only is going on, non-stop. You will tell this point, then that point, and then again this point, and that point, and that point. You'll go on repeating. That will cleanse your mind. Now, I will tell you, for your understanding, what I was repeating in my mind. I will tell you. In 5th canto, 1st chapter, it is talking about one of the son of Swayambhuva. And who is he? Our Priyamvrata Maharaj. Now, this all I got by heart because of this repetition. Priyamvrata Maharaj is one of the eldest sons of Swayambhuva Manu. And about him, the 1st chapter speaks. And in the 2nd chapter, it speaks about his first son. Priyavrata's first son, Agnidra. And 3rd chapter speaks about Agnidra's son, Hingnabhi. All these people are kings. Now, in 1st chapter, what it is said, that Parikshit Maharaj is asking a question. See, I'm closing my eyes and telling it by heart, because that only I've been thinking. When I'm not able to read Bhagavatam, I'm trying to think that, and be in touch. And today I got to know by being in touch. Radheshyam Prabhu told, by being in touch with Bhagavatam for a long time, your mind gets cleansed. So, and today I'm hearing that by thinking about Krishna, you're in touch with Krishna. What a fortune then. Then why not? So you see what all I'm thinking. In my mind, I'm saying, okay, about Priyavrata, Parikshit Maharaj is asking a question to Shukadeva Goswami that Priyavrata Maharaj, he learned from Narada Muni and he became a Naistik Brahmachari. Naistik Brahmachari means one who will, never do, ejaculating of semen for all his life. Means that he's a fully sense-controlled Brahmachari for lifetime. He takes a vow, he'll never become a married person also. Okay, never think of it and never do such wrong, dirty activities. So that is Priyamvrata Maharaj was trained like a Naishtika Brahmachari. But how come he entered into married life and enjoyed sense gratification? And then again he came out of it, again become Krishna conscious. Because any brahmachari who has tasted pure devotional service and he became a pure devotee, such a person will never fall down into trap of grahastha sense gratification. And this fellow, he got down to grahastha, enjoyed sense gratification like any other person. And then again he got out of it, again become Krishna conscious. How, first of all, he fell down to life of enjoyment, and how again he came out of it. Falling down, if you enter into life sense gratification, there's no way to get out only. That much it is dangerous. And he fell into the dangerous trap. And then he got out also. And he became devotee. How? That's the question, So that question only comes in 4 or 5 verses. And then the answer is that Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami answers that, see, this devotional service is such a thing that if somebody does a real devotional service and tastes the happiness of devotional service, such a person, even if he commits aparad also, still he will still be taken out, and he will still be getting again back to devotional service. So in the purport, Prabhupada is writing, see, when there will be obstruction in devotional services, when you do aparadha of two kinds. One is aparadha to Vaishnavas, one is aparadha to Krishna directly, Krishna or holy name. But in both the cases also, even if you do aparadha, then also Krishna personally comes and uplifts you from there. Even if you did Vaishnava aparadha, maybe one lifetime of yours is gone, two lifetime is gone. But then Krishna again comes and helps you to get back to devotional service. So even if you do, they say Vaishnava aparadha is very dangerous, mad elephants offense. Yes, it is dangerous because it delays too much. We lose our lifetime or lifetimes. But then Krishna takes the responsibility of again taking us back to devotional service. That is Krishna does it. That is why there is no fear. So even if Priyavrata Maharaj fell down to life of sense, then Krishna only takes. In that sense, I understood. And then he explains that he never wanted to marry Priyamrat Maharaj, and he was with his spiritual master Narada Muni. That time, his father Swayambhuva Manu comes, and then he tells that, hey, you have to know my son. No, the other son is Uttama. What is that? Uttama. Uttanapada, King Uttanapada. Okay, the father of Uttama and Dhruva is Uttanapada. That one actually he had sons. It ended up prachetas, and then there's no more progeny happening. So now you should continue having some progeny. You should become a king, and you should marry, and you should have children. Like that, the father is coming and telling this son who is decided to never marry. At that time, he is not convinced. He is with his spiritual master, he is not convinced. So then what happens? Then that matter, Brahma also understand that this Swayambhuva Manu has gone to convince Priyavrata, and the fellow is not agreeing. So Brahma directly comes in his white swan. And these people see, Narada Muni sees from a distance, in white swan is coming, this my father Brahma. Narada Muni immediately stands up, Father Brahma is coming, out of full respect, because father, no, it's very respect worthy, and plus Brahma is the spiritual master for three worlds. What is purport, content, and transition contents, I am telling you. So I got it all by heart because I am meditating on those things only again and again, because now I realize whatever I learned I'm forgetting, so I am very unhappy about it. What's the use of my Bhakti Vaibhava course? I want to remember. So anyway, for local people, I'm doing first canto, I did finish, so that I have some highlights memory I have. And second canto also I recently did that, also some memory I have. But third canto I didn't do chapter by chapter test, so I forgot. Fourth canto, I didn't do chapter by chapter, I forgot. Now I'm really mad. I don't want to forget. So I want to remember. So out of greed to remember, I was just by hearting. But I came to know that it gets soaked, our conscious gets soaked there, and it gets cleansed. And it's soaking and cleansing. I won't understand. But definitely there will be transition in my heart. Definitely by all your mercy. So what happened is this king Priyavrata. Huh? So Priyavrat Maharaj was actually
उनके वो इंश्योरेंस के उसके क्या बोलते हैं
I think we have to mute someone who is talking. Someone, I think Kavita Sharma Mataji has to be muted. Okay, and then you know what happens? This Priyavrata Maharaj was spoken to by his father, is not convinced. Immediately Brahma comes on his one, and Narada Muni gets up, and this one also, Priyavrata Maharaj also gets up, and they all, Swayambhuva Manu also, they all pay their respects to Brahma. And then Brahma says, see, don't Priyavrata, you should not be envious of Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the envy here? He is listening to his spiritual master. But he's saying because it's Krishna's plan, Supreme Personality of Godhead's plan, that you have to marry, you have to produce progeny, you have to enjoy sense gratification. But he says it with a smile. That smile indicates that don't worry, but you will not fall down. You are thinking you'll fall down, you do not accept. No, you are not. And he also smiling, thinking that you are very adamant, you don't want to become Naistika, I mean, you don't want to become a married Grasta, but I am going to convince you today. I am going to convince you. So that also was there in his smile. So then he says, see, you cannot be envious of the plans of the Lord, because it's a desire. Now, not only me, along with me, Lord Shiva is also there. Along with him, two more Munis also had come, great people. See, all of them are, not envious of the Lord. All of them are following instruction of the Lord. Why you are not following? You also should follow the instructions of the Lord. And, and then he says one more point. See, now I forgot, because constantly from 3 days, I was meditating on today's program. Today I had to give one class. I mean, I had to be a part of panel discussion actually. In that, it was like books are the basis. Festival is there, no? So for that, they wanted some panel discussion from three Matajis. So I was focusing on that. So now I forgot that point actually. See, this much I remembered, but because I'm meditating so much. And then he is told that all these people are also agreeing, with Krishna's plan. So you also should agree. And you indulge in married life and enjoy life, because if you enjoy life, then when you become old, since you have seen the taste of that enjoyment, you will not be attracted by further any distractions that come your way. Means like Menaka people can distract people who have not enjoyed life enough. But if you have really enjoyed the Menaka of your life, your wife or your husband, enough enjoyed, then at our age, like now we are in, I am 50 now, someone who's at 50 or above 50, then if somebody tries to entice, if a young man comes to entice us, we will not get disturbed only. Because what we know everything of this, there's nothing there. Everything is in Krishna consciousness. We know it so clearly. We have seen what is life, enjoyment of sense getaway. We have seen what is Krishna consciousness. Now we will not be disturbed. So that's what Brahma is saying. So once you enjoy life, then you will not be disturbed. Then you can very nicely be Krishna conscious. So why don't you do it? Like that he's saying. And after that, he marries a queen called Barhishmati, young princess. He marries Barhishmati, and she becomes the first wife. And in her, actually, her way of movements, her dressing style, her seeing, her glances were so attractive that he gets charmed by her. Why? He was a great soul, but he gets charmed. Why? Because he chooses to do his justice to the duty. Means now he was a pure brahmachari. Now when he's a grahastha, he wants to be like a grahastha. So he entertains the life of sense gratification, and he enjoys, and he gets 10 sons and one daughter. Daughter's name is Urjaswati or something like that. And then he marries, he has second wife also. From second wife, he gets 3 sons, and 3 of them become 3 Manus, one after the other. Second wife's sons are 3 Manus, one after the other. First wife, he gets 10 sons, and in them 3 become sannyasis, paramamsas. They become 7 of them. They what they do, I tell little later. And this fellow, this our Priyavrata Maharaj, he sees when he's doing all this, when he has so many children, he sees that this Surya Dev, when he goes to northern hemisphere, in the southern side, there is no light. It's dark. And when he comes to southern, in the northern side, there is no light. It's dark. He didn't like it. Priyavrata Maharaj felt, worry, what is this? Because he has done so much Naishtika Brahmacharya, tapasya he had spent doing devotional service. It's so much mystic powers that he boards on his chariot and he goes behind Suryadev. Suryadev has his orbit, and this Priyamata also goes behind. That if Suryadev is in the northern hemisphere, he is in the southern hemisphere. When Suryadev comes to the southern hemisphere, he is in the northern hemisphere. So where his chariot is there it's equal like sunlight. Means he had the mystic power to become like, to give light like the sun. So when sun leaves, he is there giving light. When sun leaves that position, he always, wherever sun is going, he's going behind. So sun is here, so he is here to give light here, because sun is giving light to all this region, and he is giving light to all this region, like that. So directly opposite, diagonally opposite all the time. So like this, he went on giving light. That way, when his chariot moved, it made lines, marks. That where it found marks, there oceans were formed. So 7 oceans were formed, and in like a circular form, oceans were formed. And inside each ocean, in the center, there was an island, and there is a land, so it's covering land. So it became 7 islands covered by 7 oceans. And then when this much happens, and he has sons, and he has given light, when he had done achievement, he feels, what did I do in my life? I was Krishna conscious person. Now I'm enjoyed. I become a monkey in the hands of my wife. Simply he's telling like that. It's out of humility. He's regretting the sense gratification time he did. Actually, when he's into sense gratification, that's when he conceived. I mean, she conceived, and so the son also was not a pure devotee, because he had that mood of sense gratification. Lusty desires were there in his head. That's why the son Agnidra, who is born, also is not a pure devotee. He is only desiring to go to Pitralok. That kind of a son is born to him. So when he thinks, when he does all these activities, then suddenly he remembers. That's why Brahma had smiled, you will not fall down. It means that since you're listening, Prabhupada, this point I forgot, that Prabhupada writes in the purports that if somebody is listening to the spiritual master, then he is going to be really successful, because he is going to be attaining perfection. He is going to advance in devotional service. See, sometimes we may be wanting to do preaching seva, but Prabhupada, our Guru may say you do cooking seva. If you do cooking seva and not able to do preaching seva, then what happens is that you will still progress like a preacher, who is doing dedicated preaching. Means simply by listening to success is to listen to instruction of spiritual master and other pure devotees who are spiritual master's assistants. If you simply listen to them, then we will get full success. That's what Prabhupada writes in the purports. So that was the lesson there, that because he listened to the instruction of the spiritual master of the three worlds, Brahmaji, and even Narada Muni said, okay, you do life of sense, that you marry, no problem, because spiritual, my father is saying, so he's also quiet, he's also accepted. And then what happens? Suddenly he remembers, this is a Krishna's mercy. This is how Krishna does not let us down. Just because we obeyed our Guru. See, sometimes what happens, Prabhupada told you, go and preach in beaches and in alcohol drinking areas, pubs or whatever. He told, Prabhupada said, go everywhere, distribute books. When these people go, Papa, young boys are going, they can fall down seeing the women. They can also get lusty desires. But since Prabhupada told and these people went, they will still protected, by the Lord. They will still go back to Godhead, or they'll not fall down. Even if they seem to fall down temporarily, still they will be lifted by the Lord. There is no doubt of it. So, like that, this Priyavrata also was lifted from that consciousness, because suddenly he thought one day, hey, what I'm doing? I become a monkey in the hands of my wife. No, I want to. Immediately, he quit. He made 7 sons into kings of 7 islands. And he gave up his wife, to whom he was very attached. He gave up his wife, and he, in his mind, started meditating. Immediately, Krishna's pastime started manifesting in his heart. Now, I want that to happen in your and our hearts by recollecting Bhagavatam like this by heart, So then what happened? He started recollecting, and then that's why then what happened? I forgot. Then last 1 or 2 verse only is there. That chapter ends. If you want to verify, just read 5th canto. All the verses you read, this is the content that I have spoken. That only is there, because I'm by hearting that. Then Agnidra. So like, I don't want to tell that it will go long, no? Agnidra, okay, in short, I'll tell you, Agnidra wanted, in the first only it comes. He got desire when he started ruling Jambu Dvipa. He got desire that I want to have I want to go to Pitraloka and enjoy there. He could have thought to go to Vaikuntha and be happy there. He thought of Vaikuntha. He thought of going to Pitraloka. Why? Prabhupada, I think, writing the purport, that because he was born, he writes in the purport, he was born when this Priyavrata was in lusty desire of sense gratification. That is why the soul, at that time, when conception time, what is the father's consciousness? Accordingly, that kind of soul is sent. So this Agnidra not thinking of going back to Godhead. He's thinking of enjoying in Pitraloka. So to enjoy in Pitraloka, he should have a person who is giving Pinda. If someone gives Pinda only, then he'll stay in Pitraloka. As long as Pinda is given, that much time only he can stay in Pitraloka. That's why he wanted to have a good son. To get a good son, he's going to Mandara Mountain. See, I don't even forgot. I forget these details, but I remember it by heart. He went to Mandara Mountain. In Mandara Mountain, he did tapasya. Why? Because there, beautiful Stree from Swargalokas will come there. So he wanted to get a good son. So he sat there in a cave and he meditated. And how is that area and all is explained, that I don't remember details. With beautiful birds, pair birds are chirping, and so melodious place like that to hear. Nice place it is. And when he's meditating, and on whom he's meditating? He's meditating on Brahma. Why? Because he wants to go to Pitraloka. For that, he wants to have a wife and he wants to get a child. That's why he's meditating. So Brahma understands, and he becomes pleased with this fellow's tapasya. He becomes pleased, and he sends one nice dancer of his loka called Purachitti. See, I remember her name also. And that Purachitti comes down, and in her nicely dressed curly hair, open hair, she comes with the tinkling bells, and she has a special aroma for which the bees are coming around her. And then nice details are there about her body, which is not required to discuss now. She comes around, and this fellow was opened, his eyes half closed, focusing on the tip of the nose. That's how you have to do it. If you fully close, then they will sleep off. Prabhupada is saying, and Prabhupada is saying, I have seen some sannyasis closing their eyes fully and sleeping also and snoring also. Prabhupada is criticizing like that. So actual way is to keep half open, half closed eyes and focus, and he was doing like that. So that's why he that half open eyes, he made it little bigger open to see who is this lady who has come. And he was so impressed by her charm. And because of too much of tapasya, he got little confused. It is a girl or a boy? So attractive. So he says, "Hey Muniputra," like that he says. Muniputra means son of a Muni, like that he says. And then he says, "How is that you're walking around carrying two bows which don't have strings?" Bows, he says, for this means eyebrows. He says means, are these bows meant to capture wild animals, or any specific person you're targeting? And your eyes are having like arrows that are having cool eyes. It's not definitely to harm me. Maybe it's my auspicious time. Means he starts feeling maybe it's a girl, attractive girl, I think, like that he thinks. Maybe Brahma sent because I was praying. Then he starts describing all her body parts and all that in a very lusty way. And that style of description she likes very much. And she agrees to marry him. And they spend together thousands of years. They enjoy heavenly pleasure and material pleasure, everything. And she gives him one son every year for 9 years. And then till they grow, she stays with him, and till the children grow. And then she says, "Now I have to go to my abode." And she goes, and this fellow becomes so heartbroken after she goes. His lust is not fulfilled fully in spite of that much of enjoyment, because he does not know what is devotional service. He's only thinking of enjoyment. So he's only meditating on her, and one day he dies and he goes to the planet where she is there to enjoy continuous, and that was Pitraloka. So see, he did tapasya to go to Pitraloka, and he goes to Pitraloka. Means she came, it's told that she was dancer in Brahmaloka. Maybe she's dancer in Brahmaloka. It's like a job in Brahmaloka, but she's from Pitraloka. So she came back, went back to there, and this fellow dies and goes there to enjoy. Like that it is written. So that is the second chapter. And in the third chapter, King Nabi's story is there. In King Nabi's story, it is told he wanted to have a son like Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then he is wanting to worship with all the Brahmanas, and Brahmanas are pure devotees. They because they worship, Vishnu comes in front and shows himself, and that time Brahmanas start praying, "Oh Lord, you have come, we have done a mistake of calling you, for a silly reason of having one son like you. It's a material desire." Why it's a material desire to have a desire to have a son like God? He's not asking, "I want God as son, I want to seva of God." He's not telling. He's saying someone like you, means as glorious as him, means to enjoy only sense gratification. So it's not a good thought. So they're criticizing the thought of the king also, and themselves also, for praying. That's for such a silly desire, material desire, we called you, and you left all the work and you came here. We are very sorry for taking your time. And please, we pray that may we remember your holy name at the time of death, because there's a danger while dying. I may be yawning, I may be sleeping, or I may be in diseased condition, or mentally I may be off. I may not remember. So please, oh Lord, now that you have come in front of us, please help us to remember you at the time of death. Like that they're praying. And they're praying further, but those further points I could not read and by heart it in my memory to remember it. So this is where this much only I have been revising. And you see, because of the revision, though for 3 days I was busy with today's morning's program preparation, I could remember this much and tell it. And if you verify, these are all correct points, and I have not missed most of it. 80% of it is there. Like this, if you recollect everything from today onwards, from 7th canto, from this point till your 12th canto, you should get it by heart. You should do like that. And then if you want to keep sharing with someone or something, then how can you be disturbed by material desires if you're by-hearting like this? How can your consciousness not become Krishna conscious? How will your body not become spiritualized? Like that, I have just started doing it. I'm not doing it 100% of the times, but I'm trying to do it whenever I remember. And with whatever little remembrance I did, maybe 30% of the time I was remembering, or 40% of the time I was remembering. With that, I remember this much, you see. This much I would have got cleansed. Means this is like Radheshyam Prabhu said, hold the Bhagavatam by reading it for long. Hold it in your heart, or hold the holy name. So this holding is what is cleansing. So this is how I am getting cleansed. You also get cleansed. So I think with this we have to end the session. No more questions. See, the time also up for me. It's becoming dark. I have to switch on the light. Is that all right? Can we end the session now?
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much for it. Was like another Bhagavatam class, but we loved it. Yeah, and it was so much of reinforcement in the class. I'm sorry, Mataji, for taking extra time, but I didn't want to let go of you. Just wanted you to share your heart's content so we can also become more Krishna conscious. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, we can
It's
offer
now
up.
very clear now. It's now very clear now that how you can by heart, like how much I buy 3 chapters. I one more short point I'll tell you in 1 minute. Let me switch on the light. Yeah, the point is what I am not reading Bhagavatam for 1 hour. I am sitting and reading one full chapter. That's how I'm not forgetting also. You all are doing only three verses. No, but I'm sitting and reading one full chapter. You all can do that from the first canto. Now, one full chapter, try to make time and read and try to remember whatever you read in the first canto, first chapter. Next day to second chapter, full. Some chapters you may take 2 days or some chapters may take 3 days. No problem. But what you did now, in 3 days at least you finish it off and you recollect. Every day you recollect what you did. So this way, if you do, this way I'm planning to do from third canto also. I'm planning to go back wherever I have not done. I'm planning to read it and by heart it like this. So if you all can do, and at a stretch, one chapter full, try to read, especially 30 page means I am finishing it. 60 means with difficulty I am finishing it, or I finish it next day. So if we can do that, what happens, you'll suddenly, the day one you do one chapter, that day you will develop taste. And if you're able to do that, then Bhagavad Gita will look only 18 chapter, 18 days, finish it. Easy. Bhagavad Gita we took 1 year to read, but we will feel, oh, this I'm doing Bhagavatam one chapter a day, so I can do Bhagavad Gita in no time. Like that you will feel, and we can do it also. So if we can make a determined effort to sit like that, at least in a week, 2 days, if you can sit only for Bhagavatam, make time and save time in 2 days and do 2 continuous days of 2 chapters you do, and throughout the week you keep recollecting that, like how I'm recollecting. Because whole chapter you did now, you'll have full sequence in your head that day immediately. By heart. Then what happens? Then you're actually holding Bhagavatam in your heart. Cleansing will happen, my dear friends. That's all. It's the secret what I've started just now and I've shared. Always whatever I'm trying new, I'm sharing it with you. So you also try, I also will try. We will progress together nicely. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. One chapter a day of Bhagavatam. I will try.
Try. It's going to be very exciting and you'll get immediately taste for reading Bhagavatam. You will get taste. You'll feel, wow, then I want to save time. I want to read. I want to save time. I want to read. Like that, You will feel and you will be able to do it. And Krishna will help you get more grasping power. So in lesser time, you'll be able to read once you make it a habit. So now my habit is always like Maya Devi comes in my life and puts so many hurdles. So this today morning's program was like a hurdle in my Bhagavatam reading, but it's all right. It was a seva, Vaishnava seva I did. So now again, I'm getting back to it from tomorrow. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, no? I want to finish now third chapter. I already finished reading that, but again, I will read, write test and do fourth chapter also tomorrow because Ekadashi. And then day after tomorrow, only fifth chapter, like that. I will do it. You also do it. One chapter a day, we can do it. Or one chapter in 2 days, we can do it. Then you see, you'll get nice taste. And I was thinking, if we do it in a temples like that, some weekend, Saturday, Sunday, reading marathon, one chapter a day, all the group, entire group should read take one book, small book, complete it, or take Bhagavatam, complete one chapter in a, once in a month, if you can have that kind of reading programs, wherein 2 days you sit and let us pay for the prasadam, extra prasadam, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We will eat there in the temple, but we'll sit and read. So no washing vessels, nothing. That all will happen there in the temple automatically. We will do our part. And then what happens? We will get such a taste for reading. Then other days also we will do it ourselves. In temple, once in a month, 2 days we do. Then other days we will do. What a taste we'll get for reading, that taste finish then our life is going to take off. And I have just started the journey. I don't know how it's going to take off. Radhesham Prabhu said, if you do this holding of Bhagavatam in your heart or holy names in your heart, when you chant, you're fully focusing and doing, then you are going to very fast progress. He said like that, very fast progress. And now I'm looking forward for it. Now, if we stick to this plan in the next 1 year, you people and me, we are going to land somewhere else, my dear friends. It's going to be very fast. That's all. And I wish you all the best. Let's do it somehow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your blessing.
Shall we end the class now? Time is up.
Yes, Mataji.
वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य श्रीदास ठाकुर की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हर ग्रेस अमृत माधवी माता जी की जय। Thank you so much, Mataji, giving so much time. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Radhesham Prabhu ki jai.
Dalvat pranam.
Yes, Radhesham Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Radhesham Prabhu ji ki jai.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.